hopefully we're going to get through all of these 5 steps today. And if you only make it through the first 4, that's fine. Remember, this is a 2-day lab, and it's going to get frustrating. It's going to get frustrating because it's not going to work perfectly every single time. And is that okay? What do you do when you get frustrated? You try again, yeah. There's a fine line on how far to push a student into an academic category or, a certain skill. And that's okay, and that's just that's part of life, right? With today's lab, there were some challenging moments for some students who were getting frustrated, and so we kind of talked through some of those, and just I try to explain to them, and I try to give them real world examples of when I've been frustrated and when things didn't work out the way I hoped that it would in different scenarios. There are always going to be challenges, and you just got to push through those, and there are different ways to push through those, but it's okay to get a little frustrated with this. And trying to just use personal stories that I share with them a lot about my family and about myself to maybe help guide them through some of their struggles that they deal with on a daily basis. Remember I told you the story about Thomas Edison? You know how many times did it take him to try to develop a light bulb for the first time? Like over 2,000, right? And when all those reporters were asking him, how's it feel to have failed 2,000 times on a light bulb? His response was, I didn't fail 2,000 times, I just found 2,000 ways how to not make a light bulb. I try to help them be responsible to meet that rigorous challenge in class, a rigorous expectation. Will balloons pop today? Yes, and that's okay. It's okay to mess up on this because maybe we're dealing with tape, we're dealing with skewers, we're dealing with a lot of variables that could affect our outcome, and that's okay. But if it pops, no need to get frustrated, okay? What do you do when it pops? Pick up your pieces, throw them in the garbage, get another balloon, okay? Have a bucket full of balloons up here. It kind of goes back into relationship building, and can they trust me to know that I care for them, I truly care for them, and that I want to see them succeed. And so I try to cheer them on during those small successes that they might have. And so, I try to high five them or pat them on the back, say good job, and just words of encouragement that help build that confidence, to help them to see that, man, I got through this last step, and that was pretty tough. But, my teacher's cheering me on, and I know I can get through this next step. The culture of the school is important as far as student expectations. It starts with the superintendent establishing clear goals for our schools and for our school leaders. And then that kind of trickles down into the school administrators and their expectations for the teachers here in our building, and also for the students. And the students see that. They see the expectations that our administrators expect for our teachers. All right, Connor, you can do it, buddy. And for the teachers to have trickle that down into the classrooms. All right, got one. We have a little bit of success. How many of you are getting a little frustrated right now? That's okay, right? In the lesson today, we saw several kiddos that were, that came up to me and they were like, I know I'm going to get it this time, I know I can do it. And so going from a period of frustration to, I know I can do this, that confidence building, man, it's almost like a light bulb going off that I enjoy getting to watch and being a part of. It's fun. Oh, Addie, nice. And also with building relationships with the students throughout the school year, it helps me to know where their breaking point is, as far as their temperament, and their academic struggles, sometimes social struggles, to try to see where that breaking point is. You tried the straw, it's frustrating, right? I definitely want to challenge them, but I don't want to challenge them to the point to where they're breaking down out of frustration and wanting to give up. To help students deal with emotions, especially during more challenging content, try to break it down into smaller pieces. I think if you can break it down into simple steps, it makes it a little bit easier for the students to process, especially students who get overwhelmed easily and may have anger issues with not knowing how to comfortably deal with challenges. So if you were frustrated today, imagine what engineers kind of go through on a daily basis. It's a long process, and sometimes it takes years and years to develop and use that technology in a successful way. So it's okay sometimes to stop the lesson for a minute and for me to kind of share with them how I was able to get through certain trials. Every new technology just advances, and you're always going back to that step 2. Step 2 of redesigning that solution, trying to come up with another good idea. In today's lesson, I shared about Thomas Edison, trying to invent the light bulb, and over 2,000 tries. It had to be pretty frustrating, and so some of these students got to see today how frustrating it could be to just not be successful after 5 or 6 tries. And once they have confidence, then sky's the limit. When I see that their confidence level is increasing, then there's no boundary to their achievement. So some of you were pushed today. Some of you were pushed to the limit, to the point to where, man, there's got to be a way for this to work, because some people are making it work, some people aren't. So, and that's good, to challenge yourself. And that's kind of what you did today, man. You're able to challenge yourself and find ways to be successful.